all the time. What are we going to do? How terrible is this? No one has it as bad as us Homenetmen. And all these people who come and get into trouble. Imagine if you were Italian American and you turn on and the most popular show in the entire country is The Sopranos, where they flaunt their Italian culture and kill people at the same time. Or even worse, Jersey Shore. And if you don't know what Jersey Shore is, GTL, yes, younger folks, I do watch Jersey Shore, unfortunately, guilty as charged. It's not a very positive portrayal of Italian culture, yet does that prevent anyone from frequenting an Italian restaurant in America? Or looking at the rich contribution that Italian Americans have made to this country? Absolutely not. We have to look at the things that we may have issues with within ourselves. We have to speak honestly with each other. We have to ask questions of ourselves and one another, but not let any of us become so heavy a burden that doesn't allow us to move forward. So I encourage you to think of questions to ask, not just us this evening, but ask yourselves as well. And again, to do a deep dive and try and figure out how we preserve our identity, how we acculturate to our adopted home, the United States, and how we move forward, not just as Armenians, but as Americans of proud Armenian descent. Thank you.
Այժմ Homenetmen Արարատ մասնաճյուղի մարզական բաժանմունքից վոլեյբոլիստ մարզիկուհի Թալին Խեչումյանը կներկայացնի Կարո Ղազարյանին։
Garo Ghazarian is the Dean of People's College of Law in Los Angeles, California, where he is a professor of criminal law, trial advocacy, and criminal procedure. He serves on the executive board of the law school as well as many other boards of various nonprofit organizations, and is vice chair of the Armenian Bar Association's Board of Governors. He is also a member of the Mexican American Bar Association Political Actions Committee. Born in Beirut, Lebanon, Garo came to the United States alone at the age of 16 and attended high school in Philadelphia, where he also completed some of his undergraduate work at St. Joseph's University. After a brief stay in Chicago, he moved to Los Angeles and attended University of Laverne School of Law, during which time he represented the school in the statewide appellate advocacy competition. Upon graduation, he was instantly made a partner in law firm by one of his law school professors. Today, Garo Ghazarian, along with his associates, practices exclusively in the criminal defense field, both in California and federal courts nationwide. He has appeared on CNN's Larry King Live on multiple occasions. Despite a grueling schedule, Garo has devoted his time for the past 15 years and continues to lecture extensively to a diverse group of organizations. He has repeatedly lectured at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia, as well as other venues, including police academies and universities. He also has been the keynote speaker for NCAA mandated life skills program for incoming freshman athletes from 1996 to 2003 at the University of Southern California. Garo is the recipient of numerous commendations for his dedication to social justice while imparting knowledge, experience, and encouragement to his audiences, and has been presented with the Extraordinary Contributions Award from the California Narcotics Officers Association in appreciation for his countless pro bono presentations to federal, state, and local law enforcement organizations. In December 2009, Garo was honored by the Western Diocese of the Armenian Church of North America for his professional accomplishments and for his contributions to both the Armenian and American community, and was presented a certificate of congratulations from the Los Angeles City Council.
Well, how are you guys doing? It's quiet, stuffy people talking to you here. We're going to get down to some nitty-gritty. First of all, I want to thank Homenetmen for having me here, joining these important people, because they are important, quite frankly. You You got city management, law enforcement, and you got a scholar. I've heard all about him, except I've never met him until today. Well, I'm not any one of those things. I'm a street kid. I'm a self-made guy. I'm a Homenetmen as a pre-teener in Beirut. I was a good runner, actually. And then a funny thing happened, which wasn't so funny. It was called civil war in Beirut. So my family sold everything they had, and they didn't have much. They gave me a one-way ticket and said, go and catch up with your grandparents in Philadelphia so that one day we can come out to America and get out of this hellhole. So I did, and my grandparents were surprised to see me. The short version of my story is I ended up living with a foster family and eventually made my way to Los Angeles. What I want to tell you, though, about Armenian youth identity starts in Armenia. It starts in Armenia a week ago where I was at. You see, I went to Armenia last Saturday because I wanted to bear witness to the freedom fast and the hunger strike of Rafi Homenetmen, who is a dear friend of mine. He's also the founder of the Armenian Bar Association, which I'm the vice chair of. And I had some concerns about his right to protest in obedience to the civil laws of that country, and his right to assemble and his freedom of speech, which was in my opinion being denied to him. When I went there, what I witnessed was scores of young Armenians who were coming to the square, thanking him for his what they perceived to be sacrifice. And little did I know, I had actually forgotten that I had a commitment here until I spoke to Los Angeles, and I was told, you know, you better be coming back because you're going to be speaking at Homenetmen next Sunday about Armenian youth identity. Well, let me tell you about Armenian youth identity. We have everything we can ask for here, opportunities plentiful for our youth, and we have youth starving in Armenia for opportunities. The problem is when something is handed to you on a silver platter, you just take it for granted. And when it's something that is so far reaching and unavailable to you, you strive for it. You always want what you don't have. I'm gonna tell you that my reception at the airport in Yerevan, when I arrived there on Saturday night, it was told to me that it was a VIP reception, that I was some VIP, whisked away when I got out of the plane, put into some VIP place in some black tinted windowed windows car, taking me over there, and people were very nice to me. I spent the next 4 days meeting everybody from the President's Chief of Staff to the Senior Advisor to the Speaker of the Parliament, to the Justice Minister, to the Minister of Civil Rights, and to the US Ambassador in Yerevan. The funny thing is, I'm 50 years old, and I'm also the same person that 18 years ago woke up one morning, looked in a mirror, and realized I was addicted to cocaine. Silence? Wow, okay. See, this is the problem with Armenians, you know. Ooh, let's not talk about these bad things. Well, here's the problem. The problem is when people want to stick their head in the sand and they want to pretend that these things don't happen, and no, my son is okay, and my daughter is fine, and my neighbor's kid is the one that is strange and weird, and my relative's kids, no, they're just going through some changes. The Armenian youth identity, well, to me, I'm the bearer of bad news. It's the 21st century genocide for our people. That's what it is. Why do I say that? Well, because as a criminal defense attorney, I represent people accused of crime. That's who I represent. And guess what? Being under the influence of alcohol is a crime. Being under the influence of narcotics is a crime. Talking disrespectfully to a police officer can be a crime. You know, just about a lot of things in this town can be a crime, but none more damaging and none more alarming than a crime where the alleged perpetrator is also the victim of his or her own crime as well. And that series of crimes obviously deal with either possession or being under the influence of controlled substances. Why is that a problem? Well, I can only draw from my observations and my countless dialogue that I've had with Armenian youth, those who come into my office with their parents, those who come into my office without their parents, those who come into my office with some concerned relative. It starts with 3 words. You know, you learn about these words when you go frequent these rooms where people anonymously go and congregate and talk about what are they supposed to do to figure out their lives. These 3 words are people, places, and things. So it starts with the people. And the people, well, who are we talking about? Not the people that your kids hang out with, not the people that you youngsters go, socializing or going partying to some friend's house. No, it starts with the people in the house. It starts with you, the father, you, the mother, you, the brother, sister, you, the child. It starts with a fundamental breakdown of communication between a parent and a child, between a brother and a sister, between husband and a wife, where let's just tuck it away, let's not talk about it because he's gonna go crazy, she's gonna have a nervous breakdown, so let's just keep it hush-hush and let's pray about it. Let's just wait and see what happens. I cannot tell you how many sad scenarios have unfolded in my many years of practicing law among the Armenian youth. It has gotten to a point where now there are teenage Armenian males and females who are resorting to selling themselves to acquire funds to support their habits. It has resulted in people committing crimes, everything from petty theft, just stealing something, snatching your purse and running off, to residential burglaries. I have represented people who have broken into people's homes. At least that's the allegation. I wasn't there. That's the police report says that the fingerprints are in somebody's home, where these people have done that and they haven't taken anything of any significant value, but they've just taken whatever they can get, whatever they first see, and just taken off. And those things end up in pawn shops. And when those individuals eventually are arrested and I go visit them in jails, or they are unfortunate enough to have their families bail them out rather than keep them in jail so they can wake up and sober up and see that their best thinking got them behind bars, I see in every soul that I encounter a goodness. There is genuinely a goodness in those suffering souls. But those souls, contrary to what the majority of the masses, the majority of Armenians think, that they should just stop, that it's a choice, and they chose that path, so the hell with them, and whatever happens to them, it's their own fault. No, it's not. There's plenty of research done that there are those who are less unfortunate amongst us who suffer from what is commonly now referred to and accepted as a disease. People consider that as some kind of a cop-out. I don't. I think diseases, illnesses are manageable if you obtain the proper treatment, if you maintain proper observation and proper follow-up. If you do not, it's just like everything else.